Good afternoon and welcome to the Monarch Sanctuary or the Monarch Grove here in Pacific Grove. I am Stephanie and I'm going to actually guide you through the grove. Normally you would be coming with me on a school field trip through the museum, but because this year we are doing things a little differently and you're doing social distance learning with your schools, we're going to take you through the grove virtually. So the monarchs are not here right now, but I want you to see why it might be that they're going to come to Pacific Grove, specifically to this spot. So let's go inside. So just notice the weather and what it looks like out here before we get inside the grove. And keep your eyes out for a monarch. We never know if we might see one in the neighborhood. This over here is the hotel, so if you do decide to visit on your own, sometimes we have the monarchs come and visit some of the flowers that you see. They've created a beautiful new mural this year for you to take pictures next to if you want to. Some for the smaller children, and some for the larger children and the adults. So you'll see we have lots of different trees as we go inside. We're going to continue this way. So we do have homes on one side of the path and we've got the hotel on the other, and then as we go inside you'll see that this is our city grove. And this is the beginning of your journey inside the Monarch Grove. So you'll notice already we have a little bit of a difference in the temperature and the climate. So why do the monarchs come to this place? So if you'll take a look around for just a second, you'll notice that we have a lot of different trees, and we have trees of different heights, right? And different types of leaves, and we have trees with needles. So we have pines, and we have cypress, and we have eucalyptus trees, a lot of trees that are in pots and boxes. And so one of the reasons why the monarchs come here is because we have a variety of trees and they need protection from the wind. So the trees are going to provide wind protection from them. They're also going to provide them lots of different choices, just like you have in your house. You have lots of different chairs that you can sit in. So the monarchs will decide where they want to be for the different needs that they may have. The other reason why they might come to the Monarch Grove here in Pacific, or to the grove in Pacific Grove, is because of the temperature. So right now it's really warm. One of the things that the monarchs need is they need to have a temperature that's not too cold and not too hot. So we're hoping that our temperatures are going to start to fall, because what happens is then our monarchs start to come inside the grove. Right now they are up north. They're in some of the other states to the to the east of us. Some of the states are to the north of us. So they'll slowly make their way down as the temperatures start to change and starts to get a little bit cooler. It'll push them down in here. So they come for the trees, and they come for the temperatures that are just right, and they also come for moisture. Now right now when you look around, it doesn't look like it's very wet here or very moist. One of the things that Pacific Grove is famous for is that we have fog. So it keeps moisture in the trees, keeps moisture on the ground. So there's plenty here for them, right, for them to be able to gather water. I just want to point out, so some of these trees that are smaller and shorter, when the monarchs first start arriving, they like to hang in the eucalyptus that's overhanging the path. So if you do decide to come visit, you might want to take a look in some of these trees. So right now we don't have any here, but we're going to come back to the grove in a couple of weeks, and we're going to see where the monarchs decided to go. So we're going to move a little bit further down the path and go check out the rest of the sanctuary. So I'm going to stop here for just a second and point out some things. So if you notice that inside the middle area of the sanctuary, we have lots of trees too. I want you to notice the health of the trees. Some of them look like they're struggling a little bit. Some of our pines are having a hard time and are looking very thirsty. Some of the cypress are looking like they also are struggling. So the monarchs actually are looking for places right where they can hang. And most of the time in the last couple of years, they've been going on this side of the grove, where we have the eucalyptus that are nice and healthy looking, right? It gives them lots of different options to be. But as I pointed out before, we have all these trees that are in pots and in some in boxes. And hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to add some plants inside the sanctuary that give the monarchs the choices that they need, right? And the protection that they need. So they can move up and down and inside the sanctuary where they want to go. If you notice on the ground, we have lots of different debris, right? We have lots of leaves, and it looks like it's a big mess in here, but actually we don't want to clean all this up. These branches and the leaves on the ground are all going to provide the monarchs with a place to, well, it's all important to the monarch. In the winter, you'll see as things start to change and we get our storms, some of them might get knocked out of the trees onto the ground, or with our rainstorms or our windstorms. And these leaves will help make sure that they don't get trapped and they're able to climb up on top and then fly back up into the trees once they dry off. So all these things we leave here. And also, if you do decide to visit, you're going to make sure that you stay on this part of the path and not go into the interior of the sanctuary, right inside the grove, because we don't want to accidentally step on any of the monarchs. And your best job is just to keep your eyes out on the path so that you don't step any, because actually this is a great camouflage. So a lot of times when the monarch's wings are folded and they're on the ground, you might not even notice that they're there. So you just want to make sure you keep your eyes open and you're walking inside the sanctuary. So we're going to continue along the path. So the eucalyptus, if you notice, they have these great long leaves. So in the beginning when they come, right, they get to grab on all the different places. They each individually grab on with their right. They've got those 6 legs and they're going to grab on tightly. So we're going to check. So just notice some of our poor pine trees, right? Some of our cypress are struggling. We're hoping that we're going to get them, right, by providing some water. And once the rains come, maybe their health will improve a little bit. So you notice that it's still shady here, right? A little cooler. And as we go to the bottom of the grove, and I hear water. And you notice it's starting to get a little sunnier. So we call these our nectar beds. This is where the monarchs like to come and gather nectar from some of our native plants. Some of these are being watered right now so that we can get them blooming once the monarchs start arriving. Right? We've got the daisy bush. We've got some bottle brush that are coming, the daisy tree. And the monarchs, just like you enjoy being in the warmth of the sun, the monarchs also like, once they leave their clusters up, right, once it starts warming up in the middle of the day, they'll come down here and they'll gather nectar. They might even gather it from our native mallow here, these beautiful. You'll see once the daisy tree starts blooming, it's going to have beautiful white flowers that they like to go on. Up, and we have other wildlife that likes to be here as well. We've got a scrub jay taking a little bath. Oh, actually 2 of them. So you see, so water is really important, and because it's so dry, we have to provide some other sources of water around here. The monarchs are going to look for a place where they get all their needs are going to be met. Look at that beautiful scrub jay. So believe it or not, so they'll come down and they'll go in the cypress that are here or in this pine tree up on the top, and you'll see them doing something called sunning. So they'll have their wings out just like my monarch in the back, and they'll be gathering, right, splashes of sun until the temperatures start to fall later in the day, and they'll go back up into the top. Oh, here's a monarch. Oh! Maybe if we come down here, we'll see where, oh my goodness. That's the first monarch I've seen. Oh, look. Oh my goodness. It's welcoming you already to the, there you go. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, that's beautiful. So the first monarch I've seen, yes, all year. That's so great. So that was so exciting that we got to see a monarch actually welcoming you to the Monarch Grove. I'm looking forward to seeing you next month when we'll actually be able to show you where the monarchs ended up going. And maybe we'll even have a count at that point of how many are here. Oh, look at this. This is one thing that we want to make sure that we don't do in the sanctuary or anywhere in our community, which is to throw trash on the ground. I'm not advising that you pick it up necessarily, but if you can just be responsible and put your trash in the trash, then we'll make sure that things like this don't happen, right? We want to make sure that it's just a natural habitat in here for the monarchs. All right, so have a great day. We'll see you next time.